Both the House and Senate have rolled out their respective proposals for the operating, capital, and transportation budgets. Can you give us an update on those proposals?
Well, first of all, they're very expensive. They're expensive to taxpayers. You're looking at about a $15 billion tax increase to do transportation projects over the course of the next several years. It's going to add almost 12 cents to a gallon of gas. It's going to add weight fees to your cars and whatnot. I mean, it's just very, very expensive. But the other thing, too, is especially for folks out in the 39th District and rural parts of Washington State, they need to understand there's very little money going into the rural parts of the state like our district. You know, and if we're going to continue to put the majority of money into about a 10-mile area, which is essentially downtown King County, Seattle, Bellevue area, we're not going to solve transportation projects or the safety concerns we have around the rest of the state of Washington.
What are the differences between the two operating budget proposals?
Well, you've got about $1 billion difference as far as the spending aspect of it goes. The Senate budget is about a $38 billion budget. The House budget is about a $39 billion budget. But the key difference is the Senate does it without raising any taxes. Just as an FYI, we're going to be bringing in $3 billion new tax dollars this year without taxing anybody more than we have been in the past. That's almost a 10% increase in revenue coming into the state of Washington. The difference between the Senate version, which does not ask for any more tax increases, is the House version does. It's asking for another $1.5 billion in new tax increases, which are going to affect every single person in the state of Washington.
Is there common ground for both sides to find as they begin negotiations?
There's always common ground. You know, one of the things that is kind of a misnomer about what happens in politics is most of the bills, most of the issues, 90% of the time, everything's unanimous down here. It's those nitty-gritty details. You've heard the slogan, you know, the devil's in the details. Well, it comes down to the details of the budgets and the differences there. We're probably at the end of the day going to be looking at a few $100 million worth of differences. At that stage of the game, we're hopeful that we'll be able to get cooler heads together and negotiate out those differences so we can get out of here, hopefully on time.
As leader of the House Republicans, what is your role in the negotiation process?
I am a minority leader. I am not the majority leader in the Senate or the Speaker of the House. And so my job ends up being one of trying to get the two majority groups together to try and maybe acquiesce, maybe calm them down, maybe finding some common ground where they can say, okay, maybe despite our differences, we can come together. You know, what was it, a couple years ago, I think it was the Seattle Times said that Christensen has become Switzerland in Olympia, and I don't want to, diss Switzerland, okay, because I'm Norwegian, but I think you need to have a place down here and some folks that are willing to kind of bring the different perspectives together and come to some good conclusions for the majority of citizens in the state of Washington.
How optimistic are you that agreements can be reached on the budgets before the scheduled end of session on April 26th?
Well, today's tax day that I'm filming this right now, so we've got very few days left to get the job done, but we have enough time. The question is going to be how hard of a stand certain people down here in the legislature are going to take on their issues, or whether or not they're going to be willing to negotiate and get this job done on time. And I think that's important for people to understand, is that we're given 105 days to get the job done. We even ask our students, you've got 180 days. That's your school year, is 180 days. We've been, by the citizens, told we've got 105. We've got plenty of time to get it done. It's time to buckle down. Let's get serious. Let's get the job done. Not to mention, for every day we're here after that 105 days, you as a taxpayers are paying at least 20 grand a day just to have us show up down here and argue with each other.
As we get close to the end of the regular session, what's your advice for people watching this program?
Well, we have a saying in Olympia, and that is silence is agreement. If we're not hearing from you, we assume you agree with us. Now, I know a lot of people contact me, so I know they don't all agree with what's going on down here. But making sure you're reaching out to your legislators, make sure you're emailing us, you're calling us, you're giving us your input on the issues, not only that we're dealing with today right here in Olympia, but those issues that may be concerning you that I don't know about. If I'm going to be a good representative for you, you've got to be able to, take that time to let me know what's going on, so then I can see what I can do to help you out in that situation. Thank you very much.